we're going to introduce our Jester, who you guys are familiar with him on some level because you've watched a few of these. He hails from New Orleans, as you can all see, and he has a different purpose now in his second life. So we're going to run through these and see what we have here for you ladies and how you think on your creative toes. So, out of the gate. This is probably my favorite question. And I hope you both have really great answers for it. If you could go back in time and punch one person in the face, who would it be?
Oh. Is it like somebody that we know, or is it just like anybody?
Anybody, whatever comes to your mind, and who's the first person you'd want to wallop?
Oh my god.
I have some thoughts. I don't know if I should say it.
Lay it on us, let's go.
Perhaps a politician that I don't really like.
You're not going too far back in time then.
No.
It's not like you want to go back in time and punch Judas or something, you know?
Right.
It's like,
Yeah,
I just want to go back like 3 years.
Right, yeah.
Okay. All right, Donna. See,
Yeah,
the elections are on your mind.
I know.
Elections are on your
I'm
mind,
still
yeah.
thinking
Politics,
about it. Yeah.
Like, I feel like I have a similar general, like, answer, but I'm just generally not a very physically violent person, so
See,
it's not in
that
my
too, that too.
personality.
You're the second person who said that. But you got to have some point in your life where something made your blood boil that you wanted to punch as a third grader,
Actually,
Johnny over there, like.
I did have a friend who was punched in a college senior year bar crawl for something something was totally blown out of proportion. I honestly wish I was there to punch the other girl in the face.
Okay.
Ooh.
Little cat fight, huh?
Little cat fight. It was too many drinks were involved, and just people weren't behaving themselves well. People were being rude, and it escalated. And I unfortunately was not there.
Okay, that happens. All right, those were fun. I like that. Let's see what else we have in here. Oh, here we go. Get into this creativity talk. Fill in the blank. Creativity is a what?
I feel like mine was almost kind of a basic answer, but creativity is an art. I know that that's maybe a little repetitive, but I had a conversation recently with some creatives who didn't consider themselves artists.
Oh,
And
okay.
I thought that was interesting because I was standing there like, oh, I think that art isn't in many different forms. Like we have kind of this automatic thought process that art is like fine art, like dancing or painting or sculpting. And I used to think that I wasn't an artist because I wasn't necessarily good at those classic things. And then I kind of broadened my horizons and realized that there's a lot of different ways to be creative, and that is kind of an art form in itself.
Sure.
You don't necessarily have to be good at those classic fine arts to be an artist.
Yeah, I don't think art means that you have something you end up hanging on your wall.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's should be the final definition, or something that you can perform in a way as an audio specialist, as a recording artist, as a sound designer.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you are creating something out of nothing in cases.
Absolutely.
So I think there is a form of that. That is a form of art when you do it. So that's an interesting take on what creativity is. Art is art creative.
Absolutely. I think they're
synonymous.
Yeah, a little bit.
All right, Alex, what do you think?
I was trying to find the right word for it, but I was gonna say like creativity is a muse.
Muse.
I feel like a lot, especially when I am troubleshooting or trying to pick out the best microphone, like the creativity, the creative spark in my brain that's like, I don't know, it's feeding me, and it's like, let's figure this out, and like how many cool different out of the box ways can we solve a problem, or I'm feeling creative, and so I need to make something. I need to like play an instrument. I play violin.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Is that a soothing thing for you sometimes, or do you feel like sometimes you have to like get angry with it, like do a passionate violin thing, or is there like Is that where you, when you go to, it's kind of like to calm down a little bit?
Well, it depends. Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, I think it's good for both. I think if I'm angry and I need to like let something out, I have pieces of music that help me like funnel that or like channel that emotion and like release it in sort of a nice healthy way. And then when I'm stressed, I have pieces of music that mean a lot to me and have helped me through bad times before, and so I go back to those and I play them and I feel like comforted.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, I feel like without creativity, like those things wouldn't feel so, I don't know, I wouldn't be drawn to those things.
Without creativity, would be drawn to those things. So do you think being creative has helped you seek out something like wanting to do the violin? Or do you think maybe, okay.
Yeah, I feel like I had this like need to be creative. And that drives me towards violin. And then when something is broken, I have this need to be creative that allows me to like think through how to fix it. Yeah, if that makes sense.
Oh, that part does very much so. I think that's a tinkering kind of thing. And I know that talked to other folks about this, and the engineer is also creative. You know, what that looks like and how you fix a problem technically or physically or come up with a new solution to achieve something that may not be art.
Yeah.
But there is a form of creativity on how you try to define and solve a problem that could be technical in nature. I mean, I think that's part of what we were talking about before,
Right.
from, you know, a sound design and a recording. Like, you have to have a creative brain to figure that out, because you have these technical things you cannot overcome, or that you have to sort of like work around.
Right.
That's always interesting to me. Okay. Those are good. I like that. Let's see what else we have in here. This is fun. Haha. What makes you nervous?
A lot of things.
All right, start listing them.
It's funny because I actually was a little nervous. I mean, I feel like a lot of people are, but a little nervous being in front of the microphone today, especially with our jobs. Like, I'm used to being like on the other side, like I'm running the record, or I'm coming in after everything's been recorded. And it's not often that I'm in front of the microphone anymore. So that's definitely a little nerve-wracking, but I'm glad to be here, and this was definitely a lot of fun. And now I'm like, okay, I'm in it.
You get in it, you
I'm
start
mellow.
talking, the microphone goes away, disappears, and you're just having a conversation about creativity.
Exactly.
So being in front of the microphone makes you nervous.
Yes. I mean, any kind
Performing?
of like performing thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I did enjoy it when I was younger. I used to do theater in high school, and that kind of was like part of my journey to finding other things through film and stuff that I enjoyed doing. And for so long, I thought I wanted to be the performer.
Okay.
But it took me kind of doing the performance stuff to then learning how to do the behind the scenes stuff, where I'm like, oh, the behind the scenes stuff is really cool. I actually like that better.
Sure.
Yeah.
There's something about being, we'll call it on set, you know, but I think as a performance, there is a set, even if it's a stage. There's something about being on set behind the scenes that's really cool.
It is.
Absolutely.
I mean, I love being on set.
There's an
And
energy.
there's an energy that you just can't define. You're there, however long you're there for, it just passes by. And there's that building, again, it's something out of nothing. You walk in, you have an empty stage, an empty set, and by the time you're done, you're lights up and you're shooting something, or you're acting something, and it's really exciting. So that I can see how that would tweak somebody.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is kind of cool too. See what that's all about. Alex, what makes you nervous?
I feel like the same thing. I mean, I did a music degree, and so I had to like play violin and perform, and I had bad performance anxiety. So performing, but I think that's also why I liked recording so much, because for like 2 seconds I was even like, I could be a studio musician, and then I can play my violin and make music, but not necessarily
of
be
people?
like on stage. Yeah. And I liked performing with groups too. I liked performing with like symphonies and stuff. But with the recording, it's cool because you can do your art and nobody has to look at
Sure.
you while you do it.
Okay, so how did you get over that performance anxiety?
I don't know that
Because
my way was the healthy.
I always find this interesting when you start to get into the psychology of how somebody gets over something
Right.
that was a challenge. So we're talking about nervousness. So how did you get over that?
Walking into oral skills class, you realize that you just have to sing in front of your new peers. No matter how much anxiety it gives you, you just gotta do it.
You just got to do it. So
Yeah.
they sort of buck up and
Yeah.
and handle
So
it.
that sort of, I guess, switch in my brain. I'm like, well, I'm here. Like, I have to. And for some people that doesn't work, and for me it was enough.
No, for some that doesn't work at all. That sends it the other way. It sends them running out the door.
Yeah. So, that. But there are other ways that are more sustainable. Mine just sort of got me through the performance, and then I saw some other peers who had bad performance anxiety sort of be able to work through it in a way where they now love performing as opposed to being so scared of it. And that's what they're working towards, as
Yeah.
opposed to I'm trying to be good enough to where I get on stage and I'm not like awful.
Yeah. So what do you think about this idea, speaking of nerves, that if you're not nervous going into something, you either lost your edge or you're not ready for it? What do you think about that thing?
I think both are true. I think both can be true. I think you can be nervous because you don't feel prepared, and I think you can be nervous because you care about it a lot and you want to
Absolutely.
do well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say too. Oh my goodness, losing train of thought. I was like, I had more to that.
Nerves.
There's the nerves. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. Yeah, I mean, you want to do your best. You want to put your best foot forward and present yourself your best. So, I think, yeah, that you probably might. Well, I mean, it's like, okay, well, if you got over the performance and anxiety, you do still care. But yeah, maybe
Right.
the nerves just are still like, it's a level of like, you want to prove yourself.
Well, they're not debilitating nerves.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I taught it at Corcoran for a long time, 10 years, and I still would have a little bit of nerves before every single class. And just the way that it was, and I felt like it kept me sharp. You know, because I think if you walk in and you're arrogant and you're overly confident, then you miss things. I think having a bit of nerves keeps you sharp. There was an athlete who said something about that. I want to say it was Derek Jeter, but I mean, the guy's a World Series champion and all these things. And he's like, I still get nervous when I go out to play.
Yeah.
And to me, that's probably healthy. Because if you stop that, then you stop caring.
Yeah.
So I've always wondered, you know, what that looks like for other people if you kind of feel the same thing.
Yeah.
Being a performer,
Right.
acting and musician, those are very in front of people. I mean, you are laid bare. And just like, if I screw up one note, everybody hears it.
Right.
If I stutter on one line, everybody hears it.
Right.
I mean, it's a very scary thing.
Yeah. And then there are the musicians who take that one bad note and like work it in somehow.
Well, that was the thing. Don't stop.
Right.
If you make that bad note, just keep playing right through it. They
Just
might
keep
not even
going.
notice it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then if it's really bad, then you're screwed.
Finish strong.
There you go.
Period. Yeah. People remember the beginning and the end of it.
That's true. That's true.
Just mess up in the middle.
That's right. Finish strong. Yep. Okay, here we go. We've touched on this a little bit, but describe your creative process in one word.
One word.
Was that a giggle of you got the answer, you know?
No, I'm really thinking.
Oh.
The gears are turning.
I'm having trouble with that one because,
Me too.
like, my creative process involves sounds, so it might not even be a word.
Okay, that's kind of cool, actually. Unpack that a little bit, because I think there's something really fun about how you might because you don't see as a designer or a painter, you
Mhm.
hear.
Exactly.
So try to capture that a little bit. What does that sound like?
Um, I'm trying to think of what would be the audio term for like miming. Um,
Oh,
Something where I'm just, okay, here, this is it then. Vocalization.
Mm.
When I'm sitting in front of my like mix desk and I'm looking at a spot and I'm like, okay, I know what sound I want here. I'll literally just be like, whoosh, or make like little crinkling sounds, or I'm like sitting there
Yes.
like going through the library, like making noises, like trying to figure out what I'm searching for.
yeah.
So vocalization, that is
Okay.
my creative process.
That's a really cool way to look at that one. That's cool. I like that one. Alex, what do you got?
My best answer is gonna be like ambition. I don't know. I feel like I'm ambitious, and that ambition will drive me through my creative process.
Okay, so for you, is it sort of you're never satisfied, or you don't, or the first idea is never like there's like a, okay, that's a good place to start, but I need to do X. I need to push it.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think it's more of a wanting to see it through, to the end, because I feel like I'm satisfied when I get to the end product of whatever it is, if it's learning a piece of music or if it's recording something. But that creativity and the ambition, I don't know, working together to be like, I have an idea. Oh, that's cool. I want to see that through. I have a song, a little melody in my head. I want to see that through. I'm going to write it. Or, yeah, I don't know, with microphone. I don't know, with the recording, maybe that's a little less so, but, or wanting to see a script fully recorded well.
Okay.
That's a great answer.
Yeah, those are two very unique answers. Mostly, I think, because of the way that you view things from an audio perspective, not visually. But you still have to try to, some things are just sounds. Like you say, that's my creative process, you know? But that does capture a lot, I think, when you said sitting in front of a board. The same thing kind of goes, I think, when you're talking about animation or telling a story. It's this. It has to do this. You know, like that's a creative process anyway. It needs to, you know. And I think that's the hard thing about Zoom and doing some of the remote working. You don't really get to do that the same way in front of your screen. There's a flatness to it that you can't get a sense of real depth when you do when you're with people in person. You're like, I need it to do this.
Right.
Yeah.
And when you're on a screen, like, oh yeah, it's got to move big.
Yeah.
It doesn't have quite the same punch to it.
Yeah.
So that's really a kind of fun way to capture what it is that you feel when you're creating. You feel in sound.
Yes.
Instead of color or picture or something. All right, here we go. This will be a fun one. You guys both live in DC?
Just outside of DC. I live in Maryland.
Okay.
I just moved there, so
All right.
new too.
Are there any substances, tricks, rituals that help you get the creative juices flowing?
My color changing lights.
Oh, okay.
Honestly. Yeah. When I would have to finish like a mix project or something in school, and I was like at home, I had this one light in my room that could like change colors like through like the rainbow or something.
Just randomly?
Yeah, just
Okay.
It would fade into one and the other, and just the vibe and energy that I had made for that room. It worked. I don't know.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So it was a sort of a comforting, chill vibe.
Yeah.
You know, just kind of like puts you at ease a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Like dim lighting.
Okay. Well, I feel like that's every mix room, every edit suite, every design suite always has like the chill,
The
vibe,
mood
the
lighting.
chill mood lighting.
Yes.
Yeah, everybody
Yeah.
comes in to go and decompress.
Yes.
And we had that at CNN. We had we call it a fishbowl. We had blue wall of glass, and people would say they just come in just to decompress, and you'd get away from the madness of the producer or the editor, whoever's driving them nuts, and they would come sit with us.
Yeah.
Like, oh, welcome.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You need the kind of like safe space.
Mm-hmm.
Be
Exactly.
creative.
Yeah.
What do you got?
I think I have kind of two things of morning coffee. Like I find myself to be most creative in the morning, like between like 10 a.m. and noon, maybe when I first get in. Like once that caffeine has been working and I'm ready to go.
Okay,
like,
okay.
If I have like something long form that I'm working on and I'm doing sound design all day, I try to make sure I'm putting all my creative stuff where I need to think more abstract in the morning. So things where we're not necessarily seeing the visuals on screen, and I need to have more creative thoughts, and I do that in the morning, and then the afternoon I'm like, okay, I can place footsteps now. Like I don't have to think too hard about that. It's
So
very
you
cut and
know
dry.
how that works with your day then.
Yeah.
Like you've got that figured out already.
Yeah.
Which I think is a maturity that, you know, I mean, seasoned creatives don't really have. There's just a kind of like a madness to the rhythm sometimes. But you already know my coffee gets me here and here and here and here. But what happens afterwards? Let's say you've done all that and you need to have that same sort of juice. Do you go with the coffee again after lunchtime?
I don't. I really try like no coffee caffeine after like 3 because I would like to sleep. But if it's after that, and that's funny because I'll usually get, if I'm doing like crafts at home or something, I'll have like that second wind later in the evening. And like naturally I'm more of a night owl, so I used to do a lot more of my creative stuff later into the evening. But then coming into a 9 to 6 work set structure, my creative clock changed, I guess you could say.
Kind of forced into it though.
Yeah. But I mean, it's worked out. But if I had to find that creativity later in the day and I'm struggling, I maybe just taking myself away from it for a minute if I have the luxury of time to do that. That's not always, copacetic with what is happening in the day-to-day, especially when it comes to the politicals and we need to get stuff done right now. Sometimes you just have to power through. But if I do have a second to just like step away from my desk and like, I'll just go walk around the office, or I'm going to walk outside for like 5 minutes and just
stepping
detox.
away into you need that. Just walk away from it for a second. Yeah.
Especially with sound and going outside and you're like, okay, what am I hearing
What am I hearing?
around me?
Yeah.
Can I get any inspiration from just like things that I'm hearing that's not coming from my computer?
You said something about when political season is going and you need to just go. Do you feel like that you're more creative when you're up against something, or do you feel like you just get it done so you just go with what you know works?
I think there's a little bit of a balance between that. Because when I have a tight deadline, I think I'm more confident in my choices. There's less time to second guess yourself or to hem and haw over the same thing. You just have to, if you like it, you're like, we're going to go with it. And if I have time and I want to come back to it, I will. But you just more confident decision making, I think. And then it's earlier in the political season I felt a little more creativity because I was building more sound effects then as the season went on. Doing work for the same client, I kind of built a soundscape throughout the season, and his ads visually were also kind of similar over time as well.
Created a brand package of sorts of sounds that became unique in a way to that one politician.
Exactly. Or the look of the ads. Because so I could pull from those and reuse them.
We do that with design and animation. You create a look for that. Well, I think it's important to also create that audio look, the sonic branding, if you will. It's being called now, where you built that. And you're like, okay, I'm going to use this toolkit the whole time. Yeah. That's kind of cool.
I mean, I always try and put something new in there because I don't like to just continuously rehash the same thing. So sometimes I'm like, all right, no, I'm gonna make something new here.
You're fine, yeah.
But yeah, it's a balance.
Okay. All right. I love that. That's very cool. So we got coffee and lights. We'll do one more and we'll get you ladies out of here. Coffee and lights. All right, let's mix it all up. Oops, not two. But we're going to do two. We're going to have one question for one and one question for the other. Mixing it up. All right, Donna, your question is... Now, Alex, if you love her question, you want to answer it, by all means. But stick to what you have first, all right?
Okay.
All right. Donna, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, social media. Is it ruining everything or making life better?
Ooh.
Alex, you get 3 songs for the rest of your life. What are they?
I feel like that's a good question for you since you're a musician.
Oh my God.
Social media, is it making it better? Is it ruining us?
I think it's ruining us. Like I mean, I'm in on the social media. Obviously, I use it. Like you kind of have to this day and age. But I think it's creating unnecessary anxiety for people and an absurd expectation to put your whole life on display for like everybody to see and being open to so much judgment that way because not everyone's nice on social media. I think that there's a lot of benefits as far as the connectivity and being able to learn more about different people from different backgrounds that you might not have like been able to interact with in your own community. I like that aspect of social media a lot. I guess it's the expectation. It's the expectation that you should be and that you need to be there to be anybody. And that it's a part of every job now, having a social media presence.
Yes, it's sort of the necessary evil,
Yes.
unfortunately. I feel like it's one of those things where if we could let our kids get into it eventually, but I think you start them too soon and it becomes a big headache and there's a massive expectation as a problem. And then people don't know how to use it once they are adults because they've had problems with it as youth.
Yeah.
You know, and then it just snowballs where, oh, well, I needed to use it this way to look cool in school. And now I'm, 25 and I still need to look cool. Now I'm 35 and now I professionally have to look cool. And, it's just a hard thing.
Absolutely.
And I don't think LinkedIn's any better. In a weird way, this professional, wonderful thing, it can be just as bad doom scrolling as Instagram can be.
Oh, absolutely. And then you're doing it on a professional level and you're like, oh, they're doing what projects? I want to do that project.
Yes, exactly.
Man.
Yes. Yeah. And you have to remind yourselves that, I don't know when they did that. That could be 5 years old.
Exactly.
And how you present those things makes a big, big difference. And that's another part of it. You can never believe 100% what's going online.
Absolutely.
It's so easy to make things look a certain way. And, just having that clarity, I think, helps a lot.
Yes.
So, all right, 3 songs.
I've thought really hard about that.
There we go.
I really had to think very, very long. If there's like an orchestral piece, can I have all movements of the piece?
Sure.
Okay. Tchaikovsky's Serenade for Strings.
Okay.
Love that one. We're gonna do Bjork, Army of Me.
Okay.
And then Garden Song by Phoebe Bridgers. And I'm locking it in.
Wow. Stamping with approval on that one.
Yep.
I'm going to need you to write those down for
Mhm.
me, and I'm going to listen to all of them.
Yeah, right? So what is it about each of those that speaks to you? Because they're probably all very different.
Yeah, Tchaikovsky, the Serenade for Strings. Tchaikovsky is my favorite composer, in general. But the Serenade for Strings, it's sentimental to me because my best friends and I, my lifelong best friends and I, we actually played it together.
Oh, that's cool.
At one point. So it's sentimental, but it's also just a beautiful piece.
Mm-hmm.
Army of Me is one that my dad would play all the time, and it is also it just gets me going.
That's
I
cool.
feel confident
Yeah.
when I listen
That's
to
cool.
that song. And then Phoebe Bridgers is my current favorite artist, and
Okay.
I think Garden Song is the first song of hers that I was obsessed with.
Spoke to
Really
you.
liked. Yeah. I also really like her band Boy Genius, but
Okay.
I could not pick one of their songs, so they're all good.
Okay. That's a very fun one.
Yeah.
So do you have thoughts on her question?
On the social media,
Yeah.
is it better with or without?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I agree with you, and I feel like it's better in some ways, but there's definitely parts of it that we could do without, like the pressure to look a certain way or live your life a certain way. But I do think it's cool for discovering artists, and it's cool for like keeping up with your family members and like long distance friends. So those parts I like.
In proper original usage.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So 3 songs. You can say no, and we'll close this out. But
I'm gonna have to I quickly thought of 2.
all right, two's
like,
good.
A third one. That's really hard because I feel like usually this question is like bands. Like I could a little easier pick.
Well,
bands
one of our
over
questions is albums, which is I think way harder
Ooh, no, I don't know because
to lock down 3 albums.
Usually when I listen to music, I listen to like an album front to back. Like I don't often. I mean, I do shuffle songs, especially with Spotify, like the playlist and everything. It's easy to just like click and play. But if I'm like choosing to listen to music, I usually do listen to a full album in order because I'm like, there was a purpose to the order of those songs.
See, that's an audio person. That's an audio person.
Yeah.
You know, like you understand some of those things when you put those in order.
The emotional arc.
Right.
Yeah.
So songs. Okay. Free by Twin Atlantic. It's just a great one. I mean, they're all going to be great ones. Smells Like Teen Spirit by Nirvana. It's just an anthem. Oh, gosh. And the last one, I'm like, there's some artists I'm like listening to that are more new in my songbook, whatever, and on my playlist, and I'm like, do I choose one of those or do I choose something that I've listened to for a very long time?
That was my struggle as well.
So I'm just gonna pull with what's coming to my brain first. I know the artist is Ashnikko. I've become obsessed with her over the past couple years. She's an incredible singer. But what is the song?
She's got a few of them, I guess, huh?
She's got a lot of good ones.
Yeah.
She's one where it's like
She's
her newest
cool.
album. I just listened to the whole thing through. It's like, such a good.
So you can call it that, the newest album.
What?
You can call it that, the newest album of hers.
The newest, yeah.
But just the full newest album.
So here's
Yeah, I guess
here's a
so.
follow-up to this, because I find that music is incredibly personal. And consider we talked about nerves, neither one of you seemed to hem and haw or hesitate about opening up that personal side about music. Because it's very easy to get offended if someone's like, oh, they suck. You know, I've been in those conversations where like, oh, I hate that person. You know, and you think,
Yeah.
I like that. And so why is it that neither one of you, is it this feels a safe space? Or is it because you know each other?
Might be.
I mean, like if it was a one-on-one conversation, you would hope that me as this interviewer, I'm going to listen to you and like, oh, that's nice, you know, that kind of thing. Cool.
Yeah.
But you know each other and you didn't actually like have any doubts about saying these are my favorites. So
Well-
is there like a safety there, or is it just like you are so confident in your music choices that you just don't care?
I think it's. I feel safe with you.
Yeah.
Donna, I feel so safe with you. It's the couch, it's the microphones. But yeah, no, I think we're like familiar with each other. I know that you
We've
like
talked
to
about
listen
music
to.
before, so
Yeah.
I've heard Phoebe Bridgers' name
yeah.
before. I just need to listen.
She's so good. But also I feel like music is subjective, and so yeah.
I mean, I used to be the type of person, like in high school, I was like, oh, if you don't listen to my kind of music, your music sucks. Like, was very not open-minded
So
about
you
music
were the
then.
you were the one there.
I was a little
Yeah.
bit, but the thing is, the music I was listening to was not good. Like,
You can call that out now.
yeah, right. I totally can. So if someone doesn't like what I listen to, I'm like, oh, it's such. It's an opinion. Like,
Yeah.
that's fine if you don't like it. I love it, and it means a lot to me.
Feel bad for
so-
them. You're missing out.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. I listen to a lot of different things now too, and it's not often that I'm like, I hate this music. I can't stand it. This is the worst. Like that. Maybe it's not my taste, but I mean, it took a lot to make that song, hopefully.
Nowadays, you never know.
I know, right? I mean, I haven't heard like something really like awful in a long time. So, yeah, I think that's their opinion, and that's fine. It's not for you. I know plenty of people who like the same thing I listen to as well. So
there you go.
I'll just go rock with them.
I love that.
Period.
Okay. Donna, Alex, thank you. That was a lot of fun.
you.
We might do 3 people again. Who knows? We'll see. Thank you very much, ladies.
Thank
a lot
you.
of fun.
Thank you.